Welcome to another episode of the Miles Offside podcast, where we talk a little bit of football and a whole lot of nothing. My name is Oscar Puente, also known as Footy from Afar, and with me as always is my co-host Chuck Bailey.
Hi.
And joining us as always is super producer Ian Stimson. Ian wants to go fast this week because we are recording late. This is an emergency episode, so we are going to fly through this week. Thank you for joining us if you are a returning listener. We're happy to have you if you are a new listener. We are one American and two Brits, and we talk about the Premier League, but mostly we just talk about nothing and make jokes. And we start off, as we always do, with a segment called Rapid Fire News. Our top story this evening. Dries Mertens says there's a 75-year-old lady who lives above me. If I played badly, she'll give me a slap. Isn't that so funny, Chuck? Ha 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 ha.
Are you all right?
Right, just give me a minute, lads. I'll just press record.
Was that good? Did I stumble on any of that?
I think you did pretty well.
Yeah. I should take up a rap career, it sounds like.
Seems so. Well, the police are after you anyway.
Yeah. So to jump into the quotes, Dries Mertens, who has been playing for Napoli since 2013, described football in Italy as a wonderful sickness. People are infected with this love from the sport from childhood to old age. There's a lady who lives above me. I think she's 75 years old, and every morning she says to me, "You played well, good boy." Or, if I played badly, she'll give me a slap and say I could have done better.
I have two questions from this. One, where does Dries Mertens live that he has a 75-year-old lady living above him? And two, how much money has this 75-year-old lady got that she lives above Dries Mertens? Like, is she keeping him out of the penthouse?
Maybe, I don't know. Or he's just trying to, really do the whole, hipster vibe and, live with the commoners and the provincial Italian life, you know? I'd gladly live underneath a 75-year-old Italian woman because I guarantee she makes some amazing pasta. And if she's coming over to slap him, he can probably be like, "Hey, can I get some sauce? Can I get some fettuccine? What's going on here?"
I love the way Oscar just goes straight into sort of old New Yorker vibe instantly.
Oh, whenever Italian food comes up, it's not even on purpose. Yeah. Honestly, just comes out.
Yeah.
"Hey, I got some sauce. Forget about it." All right, well, let's keep it moving because we are trying to actually be rapid, as I alluded to in our insane intro today. Next story, Hugo Lloris, Tottenham captain, set to miss the rest of 2019 with a dislocated elbow. He does not need surgery, but he will not be able to train again until 2020.
I mean, no shit, his arm went the wrong way.
I didn't see it because I obviously, as mentioned last episode, was at Comic-Con. Was it as bad as everyone's saying?
It's just not particularly pleasant. It's not an absolute horror show, but he lands on it, it clearly goes the wrong way, and it's just like, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty much that.
Our best to him on a speedy recovery. I'm sure he's a regular listener, but, you never want to see anyone get injured like that.
No, there were 30 seconds of tweets where people were going, "Oh, he's just feigning injury because he fucked up," and then all of those people saw the replay and just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It was just fucking horrible.
Yeah. He was on morphine and was apparently screaming his way down the tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No
morphine
good.
and oxygen and, just grim.
That's no good.
And then Spurs got battered, so...
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Our next story. Wow, we're really moving fast this week. I'm proud of us. Bastian Schweinsteiger, World Cup winning midfielder, has retired at the age of 35. Stimmers, when's your birthday?
10th of January.
Okay, so you are slightly older than him by about a few months.
Okay.
But he is retiring. Former Germany, Manchester United, and Bayern Munich midfielder. Did you guys even know that he was still playing?
Nope, thought he'd already retired years ago.
I would also like to announce my retirement from football.
It's fair.
The dream has died.
You've put in a good shift.
Thanks, mate.
35 does seem young to be retiring. I remember when he was the young and up-and-coming German star at the 06 World Cup.
I mean, he went to play in MLS. Isn't that the same as retiring?
Don't tell Zlatan that.
Oh, fuck Zlatan.
Zlatan, who, quote, has not ruled out a move back to Italy.
I would like to also rule out a return to Serie A.
All right, enough bullshit news. Let's get to, obviously, the meat and bones of this week, the thing we're really here to talk about. Colleen Rooney and Rebecca Vardy are in a row over leaked stories. Colleen Rooney is claiming that someone using Rebecca Vardy's Instagram has leaked stories about her to a tabloid newspaper. She says she spent about 5 months working out who was giving out information from her personal Instagram account.
5 months.
It's just been the best Twitter day ever. I've enjoyed myself so much.
Yeah, Stimmers, why don't you take the lead on this? Because you really have been, shining today online.
Oh, it's been so good. I mean, so yeah, Colleen's apparently some sort of spy figure who has set up a sting operation where she's blocked everyone on her personal account except Rebecca Vardy, and then planted false stories on it to see if they went into the Sun newspaper. And then Rebecca Vardy's response was, oh, well, a few people have got access to my Insta account and blah, 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 which at best, her defence is, oh yeah, I've got really shit security on my account. Sorry about that. Like that's the best defence here. I'm sorry about that. Someone I trust with my passwords has been leaking your stuff. Sorry about that. And then Twitter's just gone to town on it. I mean, it's been so good. The meme with someone's built like the detective in The Usual Suspects, like realising about Kevin Spacey's character being Kaiser Sose with the tweet and stuff, cut him with the big sort of, and then it's Rebecca Vardy's account and he drops the coffee cup.
I love that one. That was definitely my favorite one of the memes.
Yeah.
The way she wrote it though, like she should definitely write some sort of mystery novel, right? Like that's her clearly her transition into the genre, because it's like paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. It's been tough keeping it to myself. I've saved and screenshotted original stories, blah, 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 blah. And then it's ... about 10 dots. And then Rebecca Vardy's account.
Dun, dun, dun. It's so good.
Let's face it. Can you trust someone that spells Rebecca like that?
No, clearly not.
Good point.
Exactly.
That was your first clue.
So do we believe Rebecca Vardy in the slightest when she says that it wasn't her?
Nah.
No.
I mean, we should tread lightly around libelous claims, but I suspect I'm inclined to side with, Colleen here.
Yeah. I don't think, look, they've never painted themselves as the classiest couple. I mean, Jamie Vardy drinks vodka that's been laced with Skittles. I mean, the guy's not exactly a classy character, is he? So I don't think we should worry too much about slandering the Vardy's name.
Yeah, fair enough. Someone did tweet this morning, imagining the Vardy household right now. Rebecca's shrieking blue murder, Jamie's on his 9th Red Bull, and the kids are crying. Which to me just sounds like any regular morning in Jacksonville, Florida, but,
Another great one I've seen is 2 photos of like a VAR screen saying check in, and then the second one says decision, Rebecca Vardy's account. They finally got one right. It's just fucking brilliant.
Yeah. I saw one that was like it's ... and then it was a multiple choice. And the first one, it's Britney bitch. It's gonna be me. And then it's Rebecca Vardy's account. Yes!
This one's gonna run. I love it. And the hashtag is Wagatha Christie. It's just the best. I love Twitter on stuff like this.
What a delightful day. I guess the question is, like, what mystery do we put her onto next? What can she solve? Yeah.
She needs to be the next James Bond. She needs to be sorting out Brexit. She needs to be doing everything. Such a genius little sting operation. I love it.
Honestly, I could talk about this for the next hour, but we should probably talk about the football. So let me pull up the fixtures list and we'll start making our way through. And whoa!
What's happened?
I forgot about this because I was
casual trip down memory lane.
Yep.
You know, it's a good one where even I'm kind of happy when it involves Brighton succeeding.
Oh, of course, right. I wondered. I thought something genuine had happened, but you'd just seen the first.
No, I just totally forgot about this. I didn't watch any of the football on Saturday because I was at Comic-Con, and so I guess I must have gotten a text about it. But we were in the middle of all the craziness, so I just pulled up the fixture list. Brighton 3, Tottenham 0, and much more delightfully than that, Brighton 2.4 on XG to Tottenham's 0.5.
Yeah. Oof. They were woeful.
Yep, and they were coming off a horrible result in the midweek, too.
Oh, yeah, because we had to mention that they got battered by Bayern Munich. What a week. Poor little Mauricio Pochettino with his sad little face and Christian Eriksen shagging Vertonghen's missus or something. No, the other way around, sorry.
We need to get Colleen Rooney on the job, I think.
Yeah, exactly. She'll sort this out.
Get Rooney on it.
Yeah, things are really falling apart over there, and it does very much seem to be like a interpersonal between the players and the manager, like just everybody's pissed off and hates each other. I think we briefly touched on this last week, but then since then it's really taken off. like significantly worse and worse situation.
Like Brighton hadn't won, I don't think, since the opening day, and they'd lost like their last 5 or something. Like they had not won, in 5. They just put them to the sword.
Absolutely.
It was abject, and he played like a weird formation. He had like Sissoko at right back, and yeah, fuck him.
I wish I had been able to see it, genuinely. Like, we were having a good time, but like this sounds like I missed out on something fun, because 2.6 for Understat, 2.4 I think for Kaylee, to 0.5 on XG is like genuine dicking. Like, genuinely played off the pitch. So, are we worried about Tottenham?
I mean, not personally, but don't mind that much.
It was just one of them things where, like, after the midweek game where they got a genuine, absolute dicking against, it was Bayern, wasn't it? And then they go 1-0 down to Brighton, and you think, well, there's bound to be a reaction now. There's got to be a reaction, surely. And the reaction was, just play shitter. It was really poor. I mean, Brighton were very good as well, to be fair. They weren't doing... I think when they played Chelsea, Oscar, I think they did resort to sort of fouling, try and break up play like that. There was none. They smelt blood and just went for it.
Yeah,
they were really good.
They were pressing. They were really good. And Connolly, the guy that scored 2, scored some amazing goals.
The oldest 19-year-old in the world.
Yeah, he looks about 30. We'll check that. Someone check his passport. But yeah, Spurs are shit. Brighton done good, but really Brighton are shit. There we go. Next game.
Analysis.
Well, looking at the XG and the scores, it seems like pretty much everyone this week is kind of, sort of, the Burnley of the week. But given this performance, we kind of have to give out the award right now. And that is, I believe, Stimmers, you have a new jingle ready to go for this.
Yeah, I've got a jingle.
Oh, they're better than they ought to be.
Burnley of the week. Yeah, I'm a jingle, baby.
You made it.
Well, it's always fun when we get to give the Burnley of the week to Burnley themselves.
No way.
Yep, Burnley 1, Everton 0. And I believe the XG had it at 0.6 to 1.2. So they did less than half of the other team's XG, and they won. So
That'll be a Burnley.
Good old-fashioned Burnley.
Against 10-man Everton. Everton suck as well, though. God.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. On the wrong end of a good old-fashioned Burnleying.
Yeah, there we go. And enough said about that.
Yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted to give out the award, because anytime you can when Burnley, they're obviously going to win the award just by default.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, moving on to the next one, we had Liverpool 2, Leicester 1. This one has a bit of the Burnley of the Week potential, although we gave out the award already, because Liverpool did 2.7 plus a pen, only scoring 2 when really you would expect them on average to score about 4.
Is that like the anti-Burnley of the week?
Yeah, that's anti-Burnley. No, and then Leicester City scored 1 on 0.4. So, or 0.1 according to Understat. So depending on which model you look at, Leicester really didn't deserve a goal, and Liverpool should have put this away much, much more easily.
Yeah.
From what I read online, this was like a late win, a bit of a persevering win for Liverpool. Is that right?
It was a penalty.
95th minute penalty, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where you watched unbalanced of play and Leicester still went for it, but Liverpool just weren't really putting away chances, as the XG kind of can tell. I mean, Salah and Mane were actually passing to each other.
Yeah, that was notable, actually.
That was, and picked out on Match of the Day to say, oh, well, they don't look like they've got problems.
Oh, did they?
Like, they do, yeah. Like, they do. Salah doesn't pass. Like, he hates it. And doesn't like Mane. And Mane is, if you watch him whenever Salah scores, he is the most dead-faced man in the world. But anyone else scores and he's happy and smiling.
Yeah. That's been a thing for all of last year, too. Like, you can really tell that they barely tolerate each other's presence on the pitch.
But, you know, Liverpool go to 17 wins in the bounce now. 8 games, 8 wins.
It's champions form, I'm telling you. This is what champions do, where they squeak through. When they actually hit some form, if they hit their stride and they still haven't lost a match, I mean, fucking hell. Because this is them scraping through.
I think it's that it could have gone 2 ways this year, because obviously to lose the league by 1 point is a massive kind of wounder, especially when it was so high, so many points. It wasn't even like it was just peaking ahead of a group. They were by far and away, Liverpool and City, the best two teams last year. And so winning the Champions League has probably given them enough of a psychological boost to kind of get over that.
Yeah.
And they look really strong. They look really cohesive, even though they had a few defensive problems at the start.
I mean, as well, so far, this has mostly been without Alisson, who we, along with Van Dijk, obviously we and everyone else sort of said that was an incredibly important signing for Liverpool. And they've managed, they could have gone really wrong. I mean, Adrian's a serviceable keeper, but he's not anywhere near the level of Alisson.
No,
obviously.
it's exactly that.
No,
He's
not even
serviceable.
close, yeah.
Yeah. So, it could have gone really, really wrong, and they've managed to get through it. And I'm not one of these who says it's over, because that's just utterly ridiculous, especially based on what happened last time with points difference and the time it was. It was Christmas.
Yeah, it was much later in the league.
Yeah, exactly. And I love it when bookies pay out ridiculously early, because that's obviously just a fucking publicity stunt. But it's, it is what champions do. And Man City do not look... I mean, we're going to go through this in an episode later on, maybe next week, because we're going to have a little look at the league in total. We're going to sort of round up what's happened after 8 game weeks. But I think Liverpool are getting through this period. I think if they hit their stride, they're laughing. It's going to be very hard to catch them.
Yeah, and they're about to play Man United and Tottenham. Like,
well, that's fine. The thing. You'd have looked at that fixture run at the start of the season, and certainly from a fantasy football perspective, it was like, oh, that's when you might sort of jettison a couple of Liverpool players. Got Man U, Tottenham. Can't remember who else it is.
Villa, then City. Right, okay. But I mean, Man United, Tottenham don't look like they're going to pose much of a threat now. I mean, they're playing them at a good time, so yeah, who knows? But I think Liverpool look very strong.
Yep, and people much smarter than us, the good folks over at 538, have the Premier League probabilities at Liverpool with 56%.
Okay.
And City down to 41%.
Wow, that's still really close, though.
Sure, yeah, because again, City are clearly the best team by the underlying points, the underlying stats. But, an 8-point head start from here to the end is a sizable gap. And so they are definitively favorites, 56 to 41%. Chelsea in with a shout at 2%. Hey-o.
Punches chance.
Yeah.
2.
Everybody else is less than 1%. So
I'm not putting my money on that.
No, you should not.
If I get better than 50 to 1, I'm doing it.
Well, someone else you should not be putting money on to do anything good is Norwich. Norwich won, Aston Villa 5.
Oh, God, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
What, when we said that Pookie would be a good idea in FPL?
He was my captain.
Oh, yeah.
Cheeky captain. Norwich at home are supposed to be better, but they conceded 3.2 plus a pen to Villa.
They should not have beaten Man City.
Yeah, that's looking more and more like an absolute anomaly, isn't it?
They should have just lost to Man City, because that's just an expected result. No real fuss about it. And then they could have got some results as opposed to being absolutely destroyed by everyone.
Yeah, the caption on the XG map from Kaylee says, the Canaries' commitment to attacking in numbers while being absolute dog shit at defending is both inspiring and beautiful. So they really just overcommit.
Yeah, I've got a soft spot for it. They remind me of Peterborough. You've just got to score more than you let in, but when that's 5, you're going to fucking struggle.
Yep.
And you've got like 8 injuries.
Yeah, and after that result, 538 has them at the most favored to get relegated at 51%. Ahead of Watford, ahead of Villa, and ahead of Newcastle even.
Newcastle.
Yeah, so bad times for Norwich.
Brilliant commitment to that pronunciation.
Absolutely, all season long. Moving along, we get to poor old Watford, who continue to be the anti-Burnley. By which I mean Watford 0, Sheffield United 0, Watford 1.5 on XG to Sheffield 0.4. So, poor old Watford.
Yeah.
Okay, so Watford are the anti-Burnley of the week.
Yeah, exactly. Underperforming their numbers. Sheffield managed to generate such little XG on like 61% possession, I think. I mean, that's impressive in itself. I mean, what were they doing with the ball?
It seems to be a bit of an anomaly for them, especially after the good results they've had recently. And Chris Wilder, like when they lost 1-0 to Liverpool, it wasn't like, well, we come here and play the big teams or whatever. He was genuinely disappointed because he was like, we should have got something out of that game. With good reason.
And he dug out his goalkeeper, didn't he?
Well, he kind of did a bit of both.
I think it was harsh.
Did a bit of both, but is it Henderson?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
He saved them in this game, and so
yeah.
God knows if Wilder was pissed off about losing to Liverpool 1-0, God, how has he been to draw with bloody Watford? Yeah. They got 3 points after 8 games.
Poor Watford, though, I don't remember seeing, other than actually Palace, that 1 year where they couldn't fucking score for like 9 games.
7 games.
7 games, sorry. And then Aspie scored the own goal. But besides that, I don't remember a stretch of games where...
Oh, God, I forgot about the Aspie.
Saved by an Aspie.
Saved by an Aspie own goal, yep. Mm-hmm.
There was a guy,
remember that.
I can't remember if I said it on the pod, but there was a guy who, after 4 games, said, I will get the name of the player on the back of a Palace shirt, whoever scores the first goal.
Love
so he had Azpilicueta on the back of a Palace shirt.
That's fantastic. I love that story.
Loved it. Good days, Frank the Ball. Good day.
But what I was saying is, besides that run from Palace, there are few times I've seen a team as far away from their expected numbers over, 8 matches as Watford currently. They are 5 goals less allowed, or rather 5 goals more allowed than you would expect. Their XGA is at about 15 and they've allowed 20. And even more than that, they've only scored 4 when their XG has them at about 11.
Yeah.
God,
so
shocking, isn't it?
Almost triple the number of goals that they have actually scored. You'll see random, variance is crazy like that, where you'll just see a 5-run match, a 5-run stretch where a team is way underperforming. And then as you get further and further out into the season, 10 games, certainly 15 games, you see the underlying numbers approach the real numbers. But this is fucking insane.
They are the anti-Burnley. It's now doing a Watford. It's playing really well, getting the stats, and then just doing fuck all with it.
Yeah, by the underlying numbers, they have it at 8th in expected points, ahead of Tottenham, Arsenal, and Leicester.
Jesus.
That's how good their underlying numbers are, and how obviously fucking terrible their real numbers are. So I wonder, if there's something actually going on there that's making them stay away from their underlying numbers, because that does happen. We have seen really good goalkeepers or really good strikers have that, or if it's just a weird...
They have missed... In the last few weeks, they've missed a lot of absolute sitters in front of goal. I remember seeing maybe Will Hughes once, Andre Gray this week, and there was one more where the ball is played across the front of the goal, it's beaten the goalkeeper, and all the player has to do is tap it in, and they sky it over the bar or skew it wide of the post. So that will probably equate for 2 goals that they should have got, because of XG and the weird percentages, but it just hasn't gone right for them. And they've, they had the FA Cup against Man City right at the end of last season and just got smashed. That game was embarrassing, and they've just carried that on. And obviously, Javi Gracia binned, Quique Sanchez Flores is in. It's he's not going to stay long. That's just a fact.
Not
of
if this
how
keeps
Watford
happening too.
Are. So they're going to be on their 3rd manager of this season, and then what? What if it doesn't stop then?
Has he changed anything regarding you guys are better at this stuff than me? But has he changed anything regarding the attacking setup there? Because I know that before Delafeu was sometimes being played on the left, where he clearly had no interest at all in tracking back, or he just did not want to be there. And you could definitely, on at least two of Watford's games, you could pinpoint that as a massive problem, because the left-hand side of the pitch was out of action. It was a no-go. So has he done anything to change the attacking setup, or?
Deeney's been injured for the last few weeks, I believe, which is obviously he's the club captain and Mr. Watford and all that.
Yeah.
But I don't even, it's hard to really say, and to be honest, I'm not sure if he's changed the attacking, because everything's been so woeful at the back and they haven't had the ball that it's almost like they can't build through the thirds of the pitch. and their defence is so. I mean, Ben Foster has been making saves left, right, and centre. Like, it could be so much worse for Watford if he hadn't been in really good form. You know, you look even against the Man City game, and it should have been about 12-0. And he was making some great saves and pulling them in, and it's just not Watford the way it was. I can't really put my finger on it specifically, but I guess maybe it's just all of the changes and instability, and you know, we joked that finally Javi Gracia made it a calendar year, and then he made it a full season. It's like that catches up with you eventually.
Yeah. And I can't say that I've seen anything either in terms of like the tactical setup or the system. I think what's happening, at least from like a casual, like cursory glance, is that they're breaking down in the both penalty boxes. So like they're really good in the middle third, really even in like the middle 80% of the pitch. And they're creating the chances. They're mostly stopping other teams from having clear open shots, at least as well as they would hope to. But then when it comes to the final shot, or when it comes to like the actual sort of final defensive action, whether that's a save or a deflection off a keeper, off a defender, or like whatever it is, like the very last action seems to just be happening to go against them in like really unpredictable and weird ways. Like people are scoring on them from distance, people are scoring on deflections, and they're just like, they're getting really unlucky with the finishing. Like, shots that are easy shots are just getting fucked up. And I don't know if that's a psychological thing or if it's just a coincidence. Like, I genuinely can't answer that question, and they obviously can't either. Otherwise, they wouldn't be stuck this way. But my gut tells me, just because, like, again, underlying numbers over a short run can be far away from the truth, but over an entire season, over 30 games, or even over 20 games, like, they are very, very good at predicting stuff. So my read on it is that they're gonna improve. I think they're still gonna finish like mid-table probably, but it's just a matter of getting to that point and making it through this weird ass stretch.
It's still as well, like everything is very congested, and we'll come on to it more in a week. But Watford have been absolutely horrendous all season, like appalling. But they could get out of the relegation zone with 4 points.
Yeah, that does put it into perspective. You're quite right to say it, because you need such a short run of form and you're out. So
yeah, I mean, a good example of that, and we can move on to the next match here, is Palace are on level on points with Leicester and Chelsea. Like, I don't think anyone would go, Chuck, give it a second, we'll get there.
God, no, I like seeing Chuck positive. Let him do it.
Only because you know there's an inevitable spiral.
Yeah. Let me get my bit in, and then we'll listen to him descend into sadness slowly but surely.
I need the high before I have the come down. Come on.
But I don't think anyone would argue that like Palace have been as good as Chelsea and Leicester. You know what I mean? Even though those are the three teams on 14 points. So I think your point about the table being early is like exactly right.
Yeah, it is. And if you look at our fixtures, we've played a lot of the easier teams. I mean, we're going into now Man City, Leicester, Liverpool, Arsenal. I think those are our next 4 games. And obviously, we just played West Ham, and West Ham were in really good form. And everyone's been saying about Leicester and how great they've been this season. And just Palace have kind of snuck up there. I mean, Chelsea, it makes sense when they're scoring that many goals. But I don't think we played really that well against West Ham, but we seem to be getting the luck at the minute. Obviously, VAR coming to our rescue and beating West Ham at the London Stadium. That was good, which I wasn't so sure about last week. But predictions-wise, I did quite well.
You did do quite well. You actually, you deserve to crow a little bit about that.
We'll get to it later.
Okay.
Stevie Bruce. Oi, oi. But yeah, I think it's so strange, and it's kind of, again, like I just said with Watford, it shows how congested and crazy the league is, that you don't really need to go on too good of a run to all of a sudden climb at the minute. It is still after 8 games, and I think we're all kind of forgetting that.
But even so, you can only beat who's put in front of you, and Crystal Palace have traditionally been slow starters. So it's
Very
nice
true.
to see you up there with a few games gone, you know?
And this is the second week in a row also that they are like genuinely exact value for the result. I think, remember, we made a joke last week about how Kaylee didn't have a caption for the map.
Yeah.
Happened again this week.
Brilliant.
In fact, he didn't even upload the map until the next day, which is like, he has no interest whatsoever in Palace's results.
Oh, we should keep an eye on that, see if he's got an anti-Palace bias.
Because it was 1.3 plus a pen, and they scored 2, so exactly there. 1.2 to West Ham, and they scored 1. So again, pretty much exactly spot on.
Yeah. No, oh, yeah, I forgot about the penalty and Van Arnholt stepping up to take it. That was...
Yeah.
I didn't realise that until I was watching Match of the Day later.
Yeah, because your man, your usual penalty taker, is he suspended or something at the minute?
Fifth yellow card, yeah, after 7
1 match.
games.
Okay, fine.
Standard.
Right. So, but yeah, PVA stepped up and dispatched it. So,
smashed it. Amazing.
top man. But we also identified, I mean, West Ham have been really good attacking this season. Playing them at home, this could have genuinely been a sort of banana skin just to slightly derail you before, as you've put on Twitter a couple of times, you've got a nasty run coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you dealt with West Ham and their attacking threat really well. I mean, it's all been positive so far. I know, you might not have dominated any matches particularly, but... you've beat who's been put in front of you. Yes, you go into this run now, but you can afford a couple of losses now. I think you've put yourself in a decent position.
I think you're right. That we haven't really... I'd say maybe the Man United game was probably where we played some of the best football because it was just tight and it worked. But other than that, yeah, we've not really blown anyone away. But that's kind of what should happen sometimes in the Premier League, that because we've played all 3 of the promoted sides. We got 2 wins and a loss, but that's what you should be doing. You should be beating those teams and getting through and getting a result. My only concern at the minute, and it's been highlighted a bit, is our squad is a bit thin, and it's we've not scored many goals, so we're up in 6th, but it's 8 games, 8 goals scored, 8 goals conceded, which is good and shows that our defence is working, especially in all kinds of different iterations. I mean, Gary Cahill's been phenomenal.
Told you. Love that guy.
Player of the month. And I didn't realise actually for a defender, how young he is still. He's like 32, 33.
Yeah, he's pretty young.
Is he?
Uh-huh.
So he's still got a few years.
Yeah, definitely.
And I always felt he was underrated at Chelsea. Always felt he was underrated because he's like really... actually smart. His vision for the defense and where attacking situations are going to go is like way above average.
A player like that buys himself another couple of years because he's clever. Mm-hmm. Like he can, because he can read the game, then he buys himself another couple of years where his pace or lack of pace as he gets older won't be as important because he can read the game so well.
Yeah, agreed. So that fills me with a bit of hope, but it's just centre back we're good. Right back is only Joel Ward, who's been doing well, but we get one injury there and it changes a few things.
Yeah, and
we just need strikers. I mean, the Batshuayi stuff has resurfaced again, so who knows what happened. There's been interviews and things with Zaha all over the place saying how he's over. He understood what happened in the summer and he wasn't too happy, but what the papers said was all crap, as you can imagine. Sky Sports and the Daily Mail saying that he was then pushing for a move or going to boycott or whatever. But we need a few decent signings. I mean, the business we've done so far this year has paid off massively. I mean, Jordan Ayew scored 5 goals for us. Vicente Guaita has been fantastic. James McCarthy's been really good. And I think the combined fees for those guys is less than 3 million.
Ooh, that's amazing.
So we're doing some good business, though. It's just I think we need a few more in.
Yeah.
And it just makes me think that we're building up to something. But yeah.
Zaha's hitting form at a nice time. As well as you say, you've got these tricky fixtures coming up, but he is coming into a vein of form, which is really nice. He did really well against West Ham.
Yeah,
he was dancing around them sometimes.
He really did, and he was fighting well, and has done for the last. I'd probably say it has been the last 2 or 3 games where he's really started to be how he always was. But yeah, we go into a tough run of fixtures. I think if we can get something good out of this and still stay kind of near to the mid-table, then that's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to understate the effect that Jordan Ayew actually scoring goals has had. Like, to me, I'm not even joking. Like, genuinely, that's the difference between you guys, struggling to stay mid-table versus being up in the conversation with Chelsea and Leicester. Even if you'll probably fall off over the long term, like, those 5 goals are worth a lot of points. So if he can kind of keep that going and then Zaha comes in, like, you're having a laugh, You're just having a good old time.
It's having a lovely time.
A lovely time.
Oh, lovely time.
Very nice. Moving on to the next match, we switch into Sunday. I did actually get to watch these. We have Manchester City 0, Wolves 2.
This was a surprise when it came in.
Was it? Because I did say a few weeks ago, and of course the 8-0 happened, but right before that, I was like, hey, watch out for Manchester City's defense for the next couple of months.
Okay.
And now they give up 1.6 to City.
Here's what happened. You made a statement. 1 week it wasn't proved wrong, right? So you made the same statement again, and now this week it has been proved right. You're 50-50, mate. It's coin flip right now. So don't be going sucking yourself off, all right?
I have all my ribs, I'll have you know. So.
Okay, good. What I will concede, though, and as much as I say that, I think you are right. Otamendi is not a leader at the back. He made a classic Otamendi error going in on Jimenez, who was amazing in this game. I mean, get him in your FPL team. Like, he's dropped like 5 million since he came in. Get him. Done.
Yeah.
And so did a great bit of skill to beat him and played in Traore, who's had a very slow start to his career, considering all the plaudits he's kind of got, and he's an absolute unit and can sprint at 1 billion miles an hour. But he dispatched the goal amazingly and then replicated it almost beat for beat about 13 minutes later.
Yeah. But it is 2 weeks in a row now. Like, it's not just the 8-0 was 2 weeks ago. Last week they conceded 2.4 to Everton. Everton, who we just talked about, are not having a good season. And then this week, 1.2 to Wolves, and this was at the Etihad. Like, those are genuinely worrying. And I don't remember their underlying numbers for the Champions League, but, they're kind of hoping to do a Chelsea at this point until their defenders come back, because they just need to outscore everybody. And if that doesn't happen, then they're really looking at trouble. Like, they only generated 1.6, which is, for most teams, that would be a lot. And especially generating 1.6 and scoring 0, bad day out. But, like, for City, especially if they're going to try to rely on their attacking, they need to be generating way more than that and scoring way more than that. Otherwise, Liverpool's just going to run away.
The first half, it was that classic, like, there were so many fine margins. It easily could have just been I think David Silva hit the bar from a free kick, and there was another chance that just went wide. And then you could easily see City going in 2-0 at half-time, and that's it. It completely changes it. So I think you're right in a way that they just need to be generating that XG the same as they did, but taking the chances and hammering it, because it's easy now for, Liverpool was 7 points clear in December. They had the chance to go 10, but then that's when they muffed it up. But right now they're 8 points after 8 games. It's insane. Like, it doesn't matter kind of how long there is to go. Like, this is exactly what we said before the season that City needed to do to concentrate on the Champions League. And Liverpool were doing that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah, Man City, when it comes to the Champions League now, Man City can't devote 100% to it because they've got to chase Liverpool down.
They have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can't just concede the league. Like, I guess they do prioritize the Champions League, but, their fans, and rightly so, would fucking riot if they're just like, Liverpool can have it, whatever.
Yeah, especially if Liverpool do it at a canter.
Yeah, and I think here's a number that to me is like really striking, and we can transition to my team next. Chelsea's defense has obviously been bad, right? We can all agree on that. They've conceded 9.86 XGA. Manchester City, 9.66. That is basically dead even in terms of the underlying numbers with Chelsea for expected goals allowed, which is like, I don't even know any other way to show that that's really worrying than to say that they've been as bad as Chelsea.
Yeah, because Chelsea have been getting a lot of heat over obviously not having Rudiger and Kante and Zuma making mistakes. So yeah, exactly. Chelsea have been getting a lot of heat over their defence, and the numbers are the same.
Yeah, I mean, and we've said XG for points. Sorry, just to bring it back quickly before we move on to Chelsea. But City are on expected points at 18.4.
Yep.
And Liverpool's expected points are 16.7.
Yep.
So as much as Watford are underperforming their numbers. Liverpool are overperforming at the minute. And I think that comes in with a bit of where a few of those wins have been scrapes, and that classic, as you said before, Ian, just that's what champions do. They just find a way to win.
That's quite a difference though.
Yeah, nearly 2 points ahead on expected, but expected doesn't get you real points.
Yeah, not yet at least, because it's only 8 matches. Again, that is highly predictive over the course of a whole season, but it's still pretty early on.
In it. Go on in, Oscar. Let's talk about Chelsea.
Chelsea 4, Southampton 1. That was pretty fun. Chelsea only 1.8 on XG, so they pretty much doubled their expected, which is...
Burnley of the week.
Bit of Burnley of the week potential. Southampton 1.2, so exactly scoring. I literally, in our group chat with the old Gafferazzis, we were up like 2-0, and I was like, I'm not going to be comfortable until this is 4-0, and then Southampton will score. And our good friend Raf was like, kind of cracked a joke about like, ha ha ha, there's no way. They scored, and then it ended up 4-1. It was exactly what I said was going to happen, because our fucking team cannot keep a clean sheet to save our lives.
No, and because, like we said before, Chelsea need to get to 4 goals so they can win.
Exactly. And we did hit 4 goals, and I was like, oh, okay, good, we're good. And that 4th goal, it was a good game. Callum started. Callum played great. There's a lot to talk about, but it's a lot of the same stuff we've kind of been talking about, so I don't want to keep harping on the same points. But what did sort of jump out to me from the Chelsea fan perspective, other than it's really fun to score 4 goals,
yes,
is that last goal, Pulisic is back. For all the talk of how...
Pulisic, I like it.
Yeah. For all the talk of Pulisic not getting enough minutes, and I do think that he could use more, he's still got 3 assists in the league. And that pass, he took out about 5 defenders with a little shimmy and a perfectly weighted through ball for Batshuayi to then nutmeg the keeper. Like, it was a really nice goal. And sure, it's garbage time minutes, but like, that soft, perfectly threaded through ball gave me quite the boner. And that's it.
You've got a lot to get boners over with this Chelsea team at the minute. I mean, again, it's just every week it's the same names popping up, but there's just such a variety because of the amount of goals you're scoring.
Yeah.
Like, Kante gets another goal, a lovely goal. Abraham, Batshuayi, Mount, Williams in there again. Hudson-Odoi, first game back. Was it his first game back? Well, first start.
Yeah. He got a sub appearance last time.
Pulisic comes in. Jorginho's been getting more attacking returns. Abraham now's on, 8 goals?
Yeah, I think he's tied with Aguero for Golden Boot right now.
It is a lovely time. Sort out
Did anyone have Abraham for the Golden Boot? No?
I don't remember who I put for it.
No.
I don't, but I didn't put him.
I didn't either. I wasn't even sure he'd be the starting striker for Chelsea.
No, well, we didn't know, did we?
No.
Yeah, and he's been phenomenal. One tactical note here, I guess, for the Chelsea fans listening, is that it was interesting we switched back to the 4-3-3 despite Alonso being in there, because that was the only way to get both Mount and Callum in the lineup. We had been playing Mount out wide, which is not his natural position, so the fact that he'd been so good is kind of crazy. This time he shifted, so Kovacic dropped out, and we had a mid-3 of Jorginho, Kante, and Mount. Jorginho, which, by the way, I want to shout out some love to him. He was made vice-captain of the club, and after the horrible season he had last year getting booed by the fans, he has 100% turned it around. He has been amazing this year, both with his play and with his, leadership.
Yeah, attitude. Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's just been hustling nonstop. So fully deserved to get the vice-captain there.
Did the players vote for it in some sort of embarrassing situation, or
big
just
tombola.
did Frank make a decision?
I think Frank just made the decision there.
Oh,
yeah. So we switched back to the 4-3-3. Mount was in the middle, and then you had Willian and Callum out wide. And it worked really well. I don't think you're going to get away with playing that, every week, because we're not going to be playing Southampton every week. But, when we're playing a better attacking team, you can't just have Alonso in a back 4. But it's nice to know that it's an option, which is great. And Willian has been good. I get why Pulisic isn't getting the starts. Willian has been phenomenal, to his credit. And so he's keeping Pulisic out of the side like that. So,
are there any slight, fitness concerns or something? There's been some quotes about Pulisic that just make me think there's something behind the scenes.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. There's been weird, different sort of comments.
Weird, but there's just been a couple of things that have been said that just make me wonder. I really hope he's going to be all right, because I'm pulling for him to do well, genuinely. But
I get the sense that Frank is just trying to motivate him. Frank obviously learned a lot from Mourinho, from playing under Mourinho.
Yeah.
And while not having such a toxic personality, a lot of Mourinho's like man management tactics, especially early on in his career, he really knew how to get the best out of his players. And so I think Frank's doing a bit of that with the, just saying like, oh, Pulisic will get his chance, but he really needs to prove himself in training. He really needs to keep trying and working hard and blah, 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 blah. I think my gut tells me that that's just a motivation technique. I don't actually think there's anything...
Rather than any genuine problem.
Yeah, exactly. But
fair enough.
Who knows? Obviously, kind of have to maybe take Frank at face value, at his word. At least Pedro didn't start. And did you see their little handshake? Pulisic and Batshuayi after the goal? They had like a predetermined handshake that like they must just do in practice all the time. It was adorable. So... And all the American fans were like, oh, Batman and Captain America celebrating DC Marvel crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that was nice. Moving along, because really I don't have anything to say about Chelsea other than that was nice. We got Arsenal 1, Bournemouth 0. Arsenal 1.3 to Bournemouth 0.7. So kind of lucky to get away with that as opposed to a 1-1 draw. But Arsenal, I don't know, looked about reasonable for this.
He got an assist, but he's come under a lot of criticism since he's been at Arsenal because obviously they paid... What did they pay for him in the end? Wasn't it like 70 million or something?
A whole fucking lot.
It was a hell of a lot, and obviously he's quite a young player and hasn't really got going just yet. And so there's quite a lot of pressure there. And as well, when you're in a team that's misfiring and doesn't know who their captain is each week, or they do now, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, they've done the raffle.
They did the raffle, sorry. Captain Raffle. Granit Xhaka. Yeah, it's nice to see him get something and try and get started, especially with Lacazette out of the team.
Just to have another player to get going other than Aubameyang, I mean...
Yeah, they really desperately need that. And I haven't dug into Pepe's underlying numbers or anything like that, but just from the eye test, from having watched a bunch of their matches, he does seem kind of wasteful on the ball. Like, he'll get through and he'll be in a one-on-one type situation or...
And then try and beat someone again. He's very much like, from what I've seen, a much more expensive and a much more able Yannick Bolasie. Because I said much more expensive and much more able.
Okay.
Yeah, you qualified it, you're fine. Yeah.
They're cut from a similar cloth because Bolasie was like that. He was an incredibly gifted and talented player and he was amazing to watch and he could beat everyone. Like, he got a move put into FIFA, for fuck's sake. But it doesn't mean anything when you beat a player 3 times, then beat another 4 players, and then when you get to put your cross in, it goes out for a throw-in on the other side.
Right, exactly.
And so I think it's just a part of his game, Pepe, that he just needs to kind of start to grow up a bit and start to know how to be a bit more functional with your play.
He's 24, so he really should be growing out of that by now.
But to look at it from a different point of view, like... At least he's trying to do something. I mean, like, Arsenal's creativity has been really poor. I mean, Aubameyang's been managing to make hay out of nothing. Like, it's just been, he's been doing miracles, basically. But, like, I get it when you're watching a team and no one's creating anything, but someone's going, fuck it, I'll run at someone and I'll try and do something. And... Yeah, I feel like cutting him a bit slack, that's all, because I think that Arsenal team's not fun to watch, and I think he might be fun to watch. Like, I can see them cutting him a bit slack, basically.
And funnily enough, just today, Wilfried Zaha has been quoted coming out in the papers, because obviously they play for each other for Ivory Coast. Play with each other, for Ivory Coast. And, he said, I see the social media, everything, he's come from another league, he's young. There's a price tag that he's not put on himself. People have put that on him because of his performances. So you've got to give him time to reproduce that. Like, it's not going to come just like that. And it's exactly true. 72 million pounds it was that they paid for him.
Oof.
That's not under his control.
No, of course.
You then have those expectations. So I think give him time and he'll come good, but hopefully not in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah. Let's hope. Because, he does get himself in good positions. He does have all the technical talent. And if he can put it all together with that one final pass or the one final shot and his, decision-making in that final moment, then he could be a very dangerous player. Not just for Arsenal, but like Premier League elite, player of the year type conversations. So, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Arsenal are slowly moving up the expected points table as well. They were way the fuck down there. Now they're catching up to Tottenham, although maybe that's more of Tottenham falling down to them.
Yeah.
Who knows? But they're meeting somewhere in the middle.
Column A, little from column B.
Yeah.
But Arsenal, and this is just one other thing, like we joked about Arsenal loads and how woeful they are, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
1 point behind Man City.
Fuck.
Yeah. And 1 point ahead of Chelsea. But I'm not at all worried about that bet I made with Adam because our underlying numbers are fantastic. And theirs are not at all.
Anyway, I didn't think I'd ever say this year because of how we prefaced the season with talking about who's going to get relegated. But can we talk about Newcastle now?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Can we talk about how? I'm excited to talk about Man United as well because they are fucking shit.
Well, we're gonna have to really get into that conversation next week because I strongly disagree. But we'll save that. Mostly, let's just focus on this one match right now. Newcastle 1. Manchester United 0. Manchester United getting Burnley'd yet again. Newcastle putting up 0.6 to Man United's 1.0.
Whatever.
Don't care.
United lose again.
Don't care.
Do we think that Ole is going to make it past the international break?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he just there for the season, like come hell or high water?
I think he's there until they get someone better, until they get a big name.
Yeah, that is the thing.
It's got to be, because he can't stay there. He's won 25% of his games at what is, in quotes, the biggest club in the world.
Yeah, that's increasingly generous of a title.
But how, he's never done nothing. Nothing, never. And what's funny is, I can't remember where I saw this as well, but, it was on Twitter, that his old team, Mulder, are just about to win the league. And obviously he managed them for 4 years, didn't win nothing. Last time Mulder won the league, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got relegated with Cardiff. So, he went to a league that's considerably lower in quality and couldn't win with a team that has won the league as bookends to when he's been there. Like, he's not a good manager.
No, he's really not.
It was just, things
genuinely
were so bad when he came in that he kind of managed to fly by the seat of his pants and go, well, I guess I'm here now. What the fuck?
Well, Mourinho hasn't landed anywhere yet. Maybe they could give him a go.
Yeah, why not?
See how that goes.
I feel very proud of myself because I called it. I called it last week.
You did.
You really did.
Brighton and
I
Newcastle
called Brighton and Newcastle
last week?
winning. Did I put money on it? Did I fuck?
I would almost feel bad for United if I didn't fucking hate them so much because they continue to have the best defense by underlying numbers and they are basically about even with Watford for most underperforming. Like no one else, the two of them are far and away the most underperforming and no one else is even close.
Yeah, 7 points less.
Yep. They are underperforming as much as Liverpool are overperforming. And it's like really fucking weird. It's just a weird year.
It's just, they don't pass the eye test for anything.
No, and their attack does not work if Martial isn't there alongside Rashford. Why can't I say Rashford?
Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford. Like, they could not get him back any sooner. They are dying. Their attacks just go nowhere. Nowhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. Martial did start off the season very, very brightly. And then they kind of lost their way on that. But why? What was going on with Lukaku? Why didn't they just keep Lukaku? Like, he's great.
He's better than J-Lings, who's not a fucking striker.
Like, their only striker is Jesse fucking Lingard. And Romelu Lukaku scored 3 goals in 7 games for Inter Milan. Like, he's having a lovely time, apart from the racism.
Gloss over that, yeah.
Yeah, Man United suck. It's great. Newcastle United still suck. But
Steve Bruce beating a Man United team as well. That's not happened before, is it?
First time in 23 attempts as a manager, I believe it was.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. That's a good stat. I like that one.
I bet they met up afterwards probably and Solskjaer was like, what the fuck, mate? Like, you're supposed to roll over for me.
Yeah.
And he does roll very easily, Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
You just put him on his side, push him down a hill. He rolls all
Very hard
day.
to stop him, yeah.
In fact, they should fire Ollie. Like, he just lost to Steve Bruce's Newcastle.
Do we think that there's a way out for Man United? Like, we talk about Watford and being like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. With United, it's much more obvious. Like, they just don't have a striker. They don't have a functional attack. But, like, if they can kind of sort that out.
It's squad depth all over. I mean, you compare this squad to 7-8 years ago, and it's so poor in comparison.
But way more expensive at the same time.
And yet their wage bill is somehow ridiculous. I mean, how does that happen? That's bad management top to bottom. And I mean, I've seen loads of stuff about, like, someone tweeted something about a picture of Ashley Young 7 years ago in with the fans watching a game because he couldn't get in the squad, and now he's the captain.
Yeah.
And like and stuff like that, and it's just like, it really shows how far they've fallen. I think it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Liverpool next at Old Trafford, so you'd assume that's a dick in the way they've been playing.
I'm going to say United win that one.
No.
I think their underlying numbers are going to catch up with them sooner or later. They don't just have a good defense, they have the best defense.
No.
And Liverpool are wildly overperforming. Like, those two things are going to meet in the middle.
Oscar,
I see Liverpool playing up to the occasion. I don't know. I can't see Man U winning.
Keep coming at me with these hypothetical stats. I'm going to smash you with a hypothetical baseball bat. Like, it doesn't matter. Man United are shit right now. Like, awful. They can't score, and they're conceding to teams like Newcastle. Teams like Newcastle, when, for that goal as well, like Matty Longstaff, he hit it well. He hit it bottom corner from outside the box. Man United had 7 players between him and the goal. Like, it wasn't like it was a breakaway or a counter-attack, like a sucker punch like Wolves. He just scored through their entire defence.
It's such a low percentage shot that it went in. It's weird. It wasn't even, like, particularly well hit either.
No, especially because of his first half one that he absolutely cracked. And that one deserved to go in. If anything, maybe it was just an expected goal coming back. There you go. That's how it worked.
That's how it evens out.
That's how it is.
Right.
VAR awarded it. But after Man United get dicked by Liverpool, they've then got Norwich. So, I mean, and then Bournemouth, then Brighton, Sheffield United and Villa. So they've got 3 of the 5 promoted teams. Sorry, 3 promoted teams in the next 5 games.
All right, well, I think we'll wrap it up there for this week on the sort of short, quick game week 8 review. And next week we will be back. We'll take a bigger look at the table. We have quite a bit of listener stuff again, which is nice to always have that to go to. So any last words, gentlemen?
Oh yeah, I'm guest hosting on the Always Cheating FPL podcast this week. What?
You're cheating on us. Is that what you're saying?
I'm literally cheating on you. Yeah.
Why you?
Yeah. Why you?
Why me? Yeah, no, this is, like, I'm going to say, I mean, this is the worst time they could have asked me. You
are Man United. You are riding on the coattails of your past. I'm beating you in FPL now.
Yes.
You're bottom out of the 3 of us.
And the community team.
Yeah, and I beat you last year.
But my expected points are very good.
It doesn't matter what your expected points are.
Yeah, I'm having a bad season, and yes, I expect most of the Twitter backlash to be, who's this
Who the fuck's this?
Yeah. But my previous record's lovely, and I'm a legitimate podcaster now, so...
At the very least, a podcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I've got a podcast. I choose whether I'm
If you're an
legitimate or
FPL podcast and you have the opportunity to have a guest host who's ranked 1.7 million in the world, like, how are you going to possibly pass that up?
Exactly.
Undeniable insights.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to teach people what not to do.
I was about to make the same joke. Love it.
Is that what I am?
I don't know. I'm wondering if you're being brought on to be the butt of the joke.
That's almost definitely what's happening.
Sure it won't. Brandon and Josh are both lovely guys, so I'm sure they wouldn't be doing that to you, Ian. Especially as you've been listening to them for like years.
I'm not so sure now. I'm worried.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Actually, listening back last week with all the, it was it's very surprising to me, all the things that I said, because I was on so much cough medicine. Listening to a new episode, I do feel that we went in a bit hard on you. I was trying to make a joke, and then I just kept going and going and going. So I'm going to try to pull back a little bit, and hopefully they can kind of step in and fill the void and abuse you sufficiently on Sunday, given that we kind of here took it easy on you, so,
I'm sure they'll do that. And as I say, if not, the Twitter backlash will.
All right, well, and on that note, make sure you tune in to Stimmers on Always Cheating, and find us next week for some bigger conversations.
Find us if you can. We're going to hide. You'll probably need to hire Colleen Rooney to see where we're going. Colleen Rooney investigates. Ding, 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 ding. What's the Murder, She Wrote theme? Put the Murder, She Wrote theme in. Wagatha Christie. Bye.
Bye.